3 years ago, Michael Soyza was sitting in a cubicle staring at a clock because he was desperate to get home to play poker with his mates. Last year, the Global Poker Index rewarded him with the Asian Player of the Year after winning 6 tournaments and 2.6 million in live tournament earnings. And a few days ago, Soyza took home the largest 6-max event in Triton Poker Series history with 1.4 million in winnings. How did he make it to the top so quickly? We will find out in this episode of I Am High Stakes Poker. How's it going, Michael?
Not too bad, pretty good. Yeah, could be worse, could be better, but you know.
Tell me about your arm. What did you do to your arm, man?
Broke it snowboarding 2 weeks ago in Japan. Yeah, the 10 screws and a titanium plate, had to get surgery. I had like a month-long trip planned, 4th day in, break my arm, fly home the next day, get surgery, you know. That's the end of that. Yeah, but you know, so all good, should be fine, hopefully, yeah.
How long have you been snowboarding for then?
Quite a few years, maybe like 6 years or so, 6-7 years. I really enjoy it. It's like my favorite hobby ever. And yeah, I'm not that good at it, but you know, I really enjoy it.
Well, I can tell.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, but I mean,
right, yeah.
snowboarding and skiing is different. I went to Breckenridge. I've only been skiing twice, right?
Yeah.
Second time I went to Breckenridge. And I was so pleased with myself that I didn't fall until someone said to me, well, the point is you're supposed to fall so you can get better at it.
Exactly. If you're not falling, means you're not pushing yourself hard enough, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? But some people are comfortable, you know, just going down slowly. As long as you enjoy yourself, that's what's important, right? Yeah.
So talking about crash bang wallops down the side of mountains, growing up as a youngster, was there anything particularly challenging that you had to go through that made you, you know, the man you are today?
Thankfully not, actually. My life was, I had a pretty good childhood, you know, like played games and like, you know, had a good family, never had to worry about money, always had enough food on the table. And I'm blessed in that sense. And like, you know, I just did kid stuff, you know, go to school, do your homework, sometimes don't do your homework, you know, play games, play sports. I've always been drawn to more competitive sports. So anything that has competition is something that appealed to me. So like I used to represent my school in badminton and then squash and like in college, even video games, any game that is like non-competitive, I would not play because it's just boring for me, you know,
right.
There's no challenge, you know. And I like more extreme sports, I guess, because I fractured my ankle when I was a kid, skateboarding as well.
Ooh.
So yeah, for some reason it just, I don't know, just appeals to me, I guess.
And where did you grow up?
Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, yeah.
What's Malaysia like?
That's very nice, yeah. Nice, relaxed lifestyle, I would say. Very chill, lots of good food, multiracial, lots of interesting cultures. Cost of living is low. It's a beautiful place. I like Malaysia. Yeah.
And how old are you now, Michael?
I'm 29 this year.
29, so you're still a bit of a youngster then.
Getting up there. Not quite, but getting up there, yes.
Thinking back, I mean, is there anybody that you can really put your finger on, like as an inspiration that's helped you look at the world differently?
I would say no one person. It's more like a combination of people or things that I pick up here and there. There's a few people that I follow on like Twitter. One of them is like Naval Ravikant. He's like he's like an angel investor philosopher kind of guy, and like he just like spits out nuggets of wisdom here and there. And you read one of his tweets and you go like, shit, yeah, you know, something just clicks and it makes a lot of sense, you know, and stuff like that. I listen to like the Tim Ferriss show once in a while, you know, and it's like a podcast with like he interviews elite people from all industries, and like, you know, you pick up a lot of things here and there. And one of the things that I picked up from Tim Ferriss actually is this philosophy called Stoicism, right? And when I read about it or when I like heard about it, it just like struck a chord with me because these are all the things that I value and like how I feel as well and how you should live your life. And that, you know, yeah, kind of stuck with me. And so I don't like practice it religiously or like, you know, follow all this stuff. But whenever I come across an article about Stoicism or like, you know, read some quotes, I always make it a point to like read it and like, you know.
I guess being interested in Stoic philosophy helps you with poker as well, right?
Definitely, yeah. You just do what you're supposed to do and whatever happens doesn't matter, you know? Yeah, pretty much.
And what are some of the things that you talked about Naval? Can you remember one particular thing that he said or you've read that I don't know, it really changed your life or changed the way that you think about life?
I think one of it was like, working is basically renting out your time for money and like time is the most important asset you have in your life because it's non-replenishable, and like, you know, money, you can always make more, you know, health, you can take medicine, you can get better, but like time is linear. Once it's passed, it's gone, you know. And like that's one thing, not really from just Naval, like other articles I read, and that's like one thing that I really take to heart, and like I try and spend my time as wisely as I can, even though I do still watch Netflix and videos and like, you know, play games, but like as long as I'm enjoying myself, you know, I try and spend time with my family and you know, do these kinds of things. And I realize that if you kind of like quantify the amount of times you have left with your family, for example, Christmas comes once a year, you just say your parents are like 60 years old, you're not going to have that many more Christmases with them, so you got to make it a point to, you know, spend time, like important times with these people and your friends, you know, because once it's passed, you're never going to get it back. And that's why I go snowboarding and I push myself because I'm young. Once I get older, if I break my arm, I'm not going to bounce back, you know, I'm pretty much gone, you know. So yeah, I gotta take that into account and do things you want to do. If you have the opportunity, do it earlier, better than later, and don't be afraid, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, so that's
there's a great book you should check out called Your Money or Your Life by Vicky Robin, her name is, and it's a personal finance book, but she gets you to translate money, currency, into time on Earth. So you can quantify how much a Starbucks latte is in terms of time on Earth, and then say to yourself, oh, was that Starbucks latte worth 10 minutes of my life, type of thing. And when I went through that, at the time I was trying to be a professional poker player, it frightened me because I realized how much time I was sitting at a poker table folding, and then I was like, am I okay with this? How did you feel about that? Because you're nailing it, time is like super important, but you do spend a lot of time just sitting around a table, right?
That's true, but same like any job, at least I'm, you know, sitting at the table that I want to be sitting at, you know, not like in the office and stuff. And like saying that, like I had a real job, right, before, and
a real job, I love that.
I mean, like it was a proper job, you know, I had to do 4 interviews to get the job. It was a really good job, and I crushed it, and I worked really, really hard, and I did really, really well. And then after like 3 years, I mean, the point was I was young, and I want to see what the world is like. I want to see what working is like, which is a better choice. Even before I started working, I had done really well in poker for myself, relatively, you know, for Malaysian, you know, and I was pretty sound financially for a 20-year-old or 21-year-old or whatever it was. And but I knew it's important to see what other walks of life they are, and like, you know, maybe I really enjoy working, you know, maybe I can make more money working, who knows. And after like 2.5 to 3 years, you know, of working, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. And so like, yeah, you know. Yeah.
But that experience is really important though, isn't it? Because that can drive you on to more success in poker, because you're afraid of falling back into that lifestyle.
Exactly. So my goal is to never have to go back to an office again, or any office that I don't want to be in, pretty much. And so, and I think I'm glad that I end up working, because it really teaches you the value of money. Like I feel like a lot of poker players sometimes, you know, take money for granted, and you know, it's like just because you have a lot of it doesn't mean everybody else does, you know, and you kind of forget that sometimes. But having to work and slog away, you know, 60 hours a week to earn a pittance kind of tells you like, shit, you know, money is hard to make.
I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
What's your proudest memory so far?
I wouldn't say there's like a single proudest memory, but just looking back now, like, you know, from where I started off before and like where I am now, you know, I've come like a pretty long way, so I'm happy, you know, pretty proud of that. Yeah.
You have come a long way very quickly, haven't you? You know.
Yeah. Thank goodness. Lucky.
In what ways can you be a difficult person to have a relationship with?
Yes. Well, because I kind of hold myself to a very high standard, right? And I kind of sometimes impose these standards on my friends and like my girlfriend and stuff. And I guess it can be quite tiring for them trying to meet these standards. So like some of my friends have told me like sometimes like, you know, I push them too hard, you know, even though I think it's for their benefit. Some people are just happy moving at their own pace. So after the years, you know, I kind of realized that, you know, everybody has their own style and moves at their own pace. So you're just gonna, you know, you can push them a bit, you know, give them a nudge, but they just chill out and let them do their thing, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. In like, you know, pushing myself in snowboarding is why I broke my arm. So sometimes, you know, it's better to just.
Is this because you've excelled in poker and because you've excelled, you've got to experience what it's like at this. Like if we look at the world at like two polarized ends, you know, here we've got no money and we're eating a bowl of rice a day, and here we're in the Jeju, like really enjoying ourselves, playing in $250,000 tournaments. Is that what you're talking about? Are you pushing your friends because you've seen it? You're like, come on, you can do more and more.
Not really. It's like even before poker, right, when I played sports, right, I used to compete and I push myself to play as well as I can play. Even in like computer games, I want to be like as good a player at the game as I can be. So I kind of like, I'm just used to it. Like, you know, I'm used to trying your best, always try your best. Even in studies, study as hard as you can, do as well as you can. So when I see people like, you know, kind of being complacent and like, you know, not doing the best they can, I feel like, yo, you know, maybe you should try a bit harder. Maybe you should, you know, push yourself a bit more. Because I know you can do it.
Yeah.
You know you can do it. Why don't you do it? But then sometimes they're like, I don't want to do it. You know, I'm just happy being the way I am. I'm like, shit, okay. I guess that's the thing too, you know. So now I kind of got to like, you know, like stand back and look at myself and look at them and look at how people are, and like, you know, you realize that, yeah, it's true. As long as you're happy and you're, you know, continuing the way you want to continue and you're not disappointed with yourself and happy, sure, carry on, you know, it's fine.
I can imagine you with your girlfriend, just if you've got really super high standards, that getting on her nerves sometimes. How are you about taking feedback from people?
Most people will say I'm pretty stubborn, I guess, and sometimes a bit defensive, but you know, if you think you're right, you're going to be, you know, that's kind of the thing. But yeah, I try to be less stubborn and less defensive, but it's not easy sometimes, you know. Yeah, working on that.
What are some of the things that stress you out in life?
Interviews stress me out, yes.
I like it.
Yeah, accounting stresses me out. Like, I hate accounting, you know.
Oh, that the old financial side of poker?
Yeah, because like as a poker player, you do a lot of transactions with people, and you got tabs and this and that, and you got to keep track. And you know, when I started playing on my own, like 2 years ago, 2017, I had like a backing group of friends who used to buy all my action, and like maybe like 20 people, 0.5% each, that kind of thing, you know. So I have like this massive sheet, and with all the buy-ins and multiple currencies and who owes me how much I owe, you know, every event I gotta keep track of it. And for the past year, I've been quite bad at it. So when I broke my arm, I actually had some free time, right? I was sitting at home after 4 days of Netflix, you kind of get bored. So like, shit, okay, I should be productive. I should get this done, and finally got it done. So
get
like,
the
you know,
old spreadsheet out.
So like this cloud hanging over me is kind of lifted, but still more to be done. Besides that, like maybe relationships, you know, like with people, like there's a lot of sometimes not confrontations, but like stresses or tensions in relationships, and like sometimes like family members, friends, not all the time, not saying that I have it now, but when it happens and it crops up, it's something that, you know, it's hard to force yourself to confront the person to get it done and sorted, you know. And I try my best to not be afraid, because if you're not feeling good about it, you should just spit it out and get it out there so you can, you know, move past it. So that's like when in spots like these where you have these kind of tensions, it kind of like, yeah, adds a bit of stress, but minor.
Do you know, when you're playing poker and you review your game, probably not now, but back in the day when you were starting out, and you find you're making the same mistakes all the time, and you're trying to rectify it, and then you review your next, and you've made that same mistake again. Mm-hmm. Is there anything outside of poker in life that you have to continually work on? You want to really fix about yourself or improve, but you keep making the same mistake.
Maybe discipline. Yeah, I mean, I try my best to be a disciplined person, but it's, you know, it's hard to find that motivation in you to, like, you know, be as disciplined as you can be every day, day in, day out. So, you know, sometimes you get lazy, and like that's something I try to do better at, but, you know, stuff. Yeah, so you get like periods whereby you're like highly motivated, like, yeah, okay, shit, I mean, I'm gonna study, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and like after like a month, you feel like, okay, slow down a bit, you know, and then you get a bit lazy, you know, you watch more Netflix, blah blah blah, and then it comes in cycles, and then you feel like, okay, I've been too lazy, you know, let's go, you know, that kind of thing, and you know, just trying to keep it consistent and, like, you know, have a good work ethic, and, like, you know, maintain more discipline in terms of like fitness as well, you know, like eating, that kind of stuff. But, you know, easier said than done.
I've just been doing something called color code personality testing, where you do like personality tests, and it gives you a color, right? So it's red, yellow, blue, and white. I'm a red, which is like power, it's supposed to be, right? I think you're a yellow.
What is that?
Yellow is fun.
Oh, that's nice. I'll take fun.
Jumping off cliffs and diving down. Yellowy red, I would say. But that would mean that you don't like discipline. You don't like, I have to do this way. I want to just cut loose and do my own thing.
I think discipline is extremely important, like one of the most important things in all aspects, not just poker, in life as well. And moderation is one of the big things as well. And especially with this poker lifestyle, it's very easy to get carried away, and, like, you know, everything is basically extreme, you know. The way you eat, the food you eat, the money you spend, you know, the things you do, everything is so extreme. So like, I try my best to be a moderate person, you know, like try and live a lower lifestyle if I can, as much as I can.
Like trying to be sensible in the midst of all this salubrious kind of like glory.
Try to be reasonable, you know, yeah.
Keep your feet on the ground. I mean,
exactly.
It must be difficult to keep your feet on the ground. I mean, I was looking at your Hendon Mob results, which don't like tell the whole story of your poker career, but you did go from like, you know, middling around, making a few buy-ins to like 2.8 million in a single year. I mean, what changed last year in terms of your game or what you was doing in life, or was it just luck?
Well, actually, it wasn't last year. I think for me personally, my breakout year was 2017.
Right.
Because prior to that, I was working in the bank, in an investment bank, right? So I didn't have much time to play, but I was backed by my friend for some tournaments and stuff. And I did pretty well, like Aussie Millions. I won 2 rings back to back, but I hardly played in between. So if you look at my Hendon Mob, it's pretty sick. It says like Aussie Millions accumulator #1. And then immediate next entry is Aussie Millions accumulator the next year #1.
#1,
so
right.
It looks like a typo, like someone made a mistake, but I had no cashes in between because I didn't really play much. And when I quit my job and I started playing on my own, I met through this friend, the same guy that used to back me, my friend Mr. Victor Chong, right? And we met some friends. I met Kitty Kuo and I met some of a crew. This was in like December 2016, and obviously they were much better players than me at the time. And like the way they talk about poker, the way they discuss poker, like, you know, I really learned a lot from them. And then there was this seminar by feeder halls organized by Kitty and Victor and stuff in China, and I went along to help with the event. And just watching that one course or whatever training seminar, like really like a lot of light bulbs click in my head, you know, like a lot of things about how they see the game, and like, you know, Pio Solver and all this kind of stuff, and Rangers, how they interact, and a lot of things just clicked. And then from that point onwards, I, like, you know, talk poker with a bunch of these guys. And then I bought this course called Raise Your Edge. Shout out to Ben CB. I didn't even complete the damn course. I watched like 3 videos or something, and then like look at the Rangers, and like more shit just clicked in my head.
Right.
And like from that point onwards, I just, like, you know, took the concepts, a few concepts I learned, and like kind of like made them my own, and like, you know, went with a lot of experience. But I'm back on the course. I'm trying to complete it. Yeah, right now I'm trying to complete it, and like, you know, got that motivation back, you know, study more, you know, work harder, that kind of thing. And so I guess I just saw the game in a new light, and like, you know, understood how it worked, and like based on that made better decisions, got more experience, you know. Yeah.
And it must have helped going to Vegas, entering a 1K and winning $500,000. Well, if you want to win $500,000, that's when you want to do it in 1K, right?
But you know, you play enough tournaments, you're going to win eventually. And I play a lot of tournaments. I put in a lot of volume live. I play every single event I can play. I fire as many bullets as I can fire. And yeah, eventually you win one, you know. But the question you must always ask yourself is, how much do you lose? I might have won 500K. I might have lost 500K before, you know. So like, Hendon Mob is like the worst measure of success in poker ever. Yeah. Like, it's not a fair representation at all, you know. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Yeah, cash for 5 mil. I could be in for freaking 10 mil. Who knows, you know, like, yeah. So, you know, it's, cashes don't really matter, you know?
No. I want to talk about envy a little bit. Like, I think envy is a really good thing, because it when you think to yourself, like, why am I envying this person? It allows you to see how you want to excel to grow yourself as an individual. So it's not so much about jealousy, it's about like, oh, right, there's an insight there that how I can grow. When you look around, it doesn't have to be about poker, it can just be anyone in life. Who are the type of people that you envy, and why?
People who are like highly motivated and like have good discipline, because they have what it takes to push themselves to do their best every single day, you know. Not saying that I don't push myself, but it's very difficult to find that level of consistency, and like, you know, put in the work, put in the hours, day in, day out. And like I really respect people who can do that, and you know, like business people and stuff, you know, they sleeping 5 hours a day, working. I mean, I'm saying that's the life I want to live, you know. But being able to do that, I really respect that. And like, you know, sometimes I wish I had more discipline, like I said, but you know, it's not really what I want as well. So, you know, hand in hand.
And do you ever suffer from imposter syndrome?
Now that I know what it means, yes, you know, like when I like rock up to this 250K, right, I look around like, you know, shit, these guys have put in so much work, so much hours, like, you know, multiples of what I've done, And like, you know, they work really hard to be here, and I'm just blessed, you know, I get to play these stakes thanks to the support of my friends, you know. People believe in me, and I really appreciate the fact that they're willing to put their hard-earned money on the line and, you know, help me play these events, you know. Yeah, so.
We've given a lot of, oh, you have, why did I say we then? You've just given a lot of really good advice to people, but let's like nutshell it a little bit. Let's like make it simpler for people. You've recently gone from playing mid-stakes to like playing the highest stakes in the world, right? Mm-hmm. What small pieces of advice would you give to people, some really important pieces of advice to be successful?
Work hard, don't be lazy, believe in the process, and prepare yourself, and results will come. They'll just come. You don't have to force it. Don't be disappointed. Just make sure you're doing the right thing, keep on doing it, and you know, you will succeed for sure.
And it sounds as well, listening to you, that finding the right people and learning from them is like super important as well, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about Kitty and Fedor and Ben CB.
I mean, I didn't really learn from Fedor. I just was at one of his courses, and I, you know, learned a few things. But I think like for poker-wise, if you're like a new poker player, Ben CB and Raise Your Age is like a really, really good course. And if you just spend the money, it's worth it. You know, you'll take your game up to like 10 levels higher for sure. You know,
I'm doing it. I'm doing it, bro. Yeah. I'm getting out of this fucking interview and gig.
Yeah, Raise Your Age, man. Yeah, I get it. It's good. Yeah.
What ambitions do you have in life?
Nothing much actually. Like I feel like I just want to keep playing, carry on, you know, and hopefully it goes well. And if I stop winning, just stop, you know, do something else, you know. I'm sure, like, you know, there are other things that interest me. Like maybe one day, like, you know, start some company, like, you know, yeah, I don't know. Actually started a t-shirt company like when I quit my job, and everything's kind of done. It's ready to be launched, but like it's just been sitting in my friend's house. All the stock sitting in my friend's house for 2 years, and yeah, I guess.
What type of t-shirts?
Like poker-inspired designs.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, like,
okay.
Yeah, it's like looks quite legit in my opinion. But when we finally launch it, you know, maybe you guys will see. But it's just like the whole project kind of took a sideline because of poker as well. So I've been playing more, and like, you know, like poker was a much more important thing to be done at that time. So, or even now. So. Yeah, kind of like hit the sidelines on that. But one day,
one day. You're too busy winning at the moment. Finally, how does poker make you feel?
When I play, I guess it's fun. It makes me feel free. You know, the lifestyle, being able to do what you want when you want, and that's the main appeal of poker, in my opinion. As long as you win. If you don't win, yeah, maybe it's not for you. Yeah, so you got to be like objective with yourself and be honest. You know, like, can I do it? You know, like, am I capable? And then. Just take the leap and try, you know. And if you fail, just don't be too proud to say you fail. You know, if you can't do it, you can't do it. It's not for everyone. And if you can't handle the variance and the swings, don't force yourself. You know, it's tough. Yeah.
It is tough. Michael, thanks very much for joining us on High End High Stakes Poker. I appreciate it.
No problem. My pleasure. My name is Michael Soyza. I am High Stakes Poker.